Hey friends, I want to talk about another strategy concept, namely means ends and conditions consequences. This is so fundamental to how I approach my projects and my work and my life, and one of the most valuable strategy concepts that I've learned. And this comes to me through Taoist strategy. Some of the Taoists were excellent at strategy. To my understanding, from a Taoist perspective, they thought that war was kind of inevitable, that there would be cycles of peace and war, but that you want to get out of war as soon as possible. And so they were very concerned with how to do that and thought a lot about strategy for that reason. So means ends versus conditions consequences. The claim here is that there's two modalities that we can fall into for approaching the problems in our life and for solving them. And from this perspective, a lot of Western contemporary thinking falls into what's called means ends. And means ends is like, hey, I have this specific problem, I have a specific goal, and I'm going to take specific steps to get there. So, for example, I've often been thinking about my weight, and I've been keeping an eye on my weight. Sometimes I have trouble keeping on weight or putting on weight. I know a lot of people have trouble losing weight, but my body, my metabolism, I have trouble keeping on weight. And so I keep an eye on my weight and try to add weight when I can to be at a healthy weight. And I could set a specific number as a goal, like I want to weigh this much pounds or whatever. And then I could take specific steps to get there, because that's kind of a known problem where it's like, this will work if I eat such and such foods and I purchase such and such groceries, exercise in such and such a way, if I get this much sleep, whatever. That's my plan. That will result in me gaining the weight that I need to. And that's a very good way to go about certain things. Like when I went in to get into college, it was like, well, my goal is to go to a college. I think that that's important for my education. I am going to research different schools. I'm going to make a list of ones that feel aligned. I'm going to go visit some of them. I'm going to take the SATs. I'm going to pass the SATs with an acceptable score. I'm going to apply to the ones I'm interested in, and hopefully I get into 3 or 4 that I'm interested in, and then I'll choose from that which one I'm most interested in. Of course, for me, that ended up being much easier than I thought it would be, because I literally only applied to one school, and St. John's had rolling admissions, and it was actually my favorite choice, so I just went there immediately. But that's a really good approach to getting into schools, for example, which is just a simple toy example of what a good means ends situation might be, where you have a specific goal and you make a path to getting there. Now, the Taoists claim there's a whole other modality of approaching your problems, which is different than means ends and is kind of more robust and works better, especially in a lot of situations. And the idea behind conditions consequences is, okay, I actually can't control the future. I don't know what's going to happen. Everything is changing all of the time, and life surprises me and the universe surprises me. So I give up completely on trying to get a specific outcome to happen. Instead, what I'm going to do is cultivate conditions that will lead to good consequences in a variety of futures. So you almost have this sense of like, there's 5, 10, 20, 40, 100 possible futures, maybe more. And you give up on, I'm trying to have this one specific future, right? Like, I'm not just trying to get into Harvard. I want to have a robust career with, enough money, and like, that's a broader goal than just a specific goal. You give up on a specific future, but instead you cultivate good conditions for good consequences. So this looks different with different situations, but like for me, one I've been aware of for a long time is meeting interesting, resonant people whenever I can, people from the internet, people in cities that I visit, and just getting to know them, going for coffee, having walks with them is the conditions for good consequences. And I don't know what a specific person is going to become to me. Like, are they going to be my best friend? Are they going to be a really close collaborator? Are they going to be my life partner? Are they going to be just a distance acquaintance? Am I never going to talk to them again? Are they going to end up being really famous? I don't know, but I do know that I'm interested in them. I'm connected to them. They feel resonant. I'd like to meet them. And so this has been part of my playbook for years, is like I try to meet interesting, resonant people as soon as possible. And that's the conditions for good consequences. I'm investing in the future where this person and I get more intimately connected. We become important people to each other, and meeting people early is the conditions for good consequences. You don't know what a specific person is going to become to you. You don't even know that they are going to become an important connection to you, but broadly meeting as many people that are resonant to you as possible, as soon as possible, is the conditions for good consequences. So, I've been meeting people regularly on Zoom, in person, whenever I can, in as many contexts as I can, as soon as I can, for years. And now I have this robust network of friends, allies, collaborators all over the world, hosts that I can stay with. And yeah, I didn't know what any of those people were going to be in advance, but I did know that meeting lots of people that were resonant, that were cool, that I liked, that I was interested in learning more about, that was the conditions for good consequences. I couldn't have foreseen exactly which people would have which relationships or what would happen in what order, but it's just like, hey, I want to meet this person, I'm in this city, let me go meet them. Or, oh, I'm really enjoying this person's Twitter post, let me reach out to them about doing a Zoom call or having them on my podcast or whatever. Conditions for good consequences. You can think about it also as just like planting a lot of seeds, and you don't know which seeds are gonna fruit, which ones will blossom, but if you plant a lot of seeds and you tend to them, you just know some of them are gonna blossom and fruit, and that will be good. Now, from a Cynefin perspective, which I just did a video about, means ends actually is really good. It's not just a bad approach, it makes a lot of sense, but it's really good for complicated problems where it's like there's a known solution, then you just do the solution. I have this specific goal and I'm going to take these specific steps to get there. You just go ahead and do the thing. But it's very brittle and not resilient and does not work well for complex problems. You can apply a means ends solution to a complex problem, but you're going to have a much lower batting average of success, where it's like it might work 5, 10, 15% of the time. It's not that it can't work. And this is actually one of the reasons why people have problems with it. They're like, well, it does work really well in some cases, and it kind of works in some cases, but then it just seems to not work in other cases. And why is that? Well, it's because you are applying a complicated solution to a complex problem. If this is a complex system or nested sets of complex systems, as the world is, then just having this specific goal that you're trying to get through specific means is going to be a very, very brittle solution to that problem set. And instead, cultivating good conditions for good consequences is going to reliably lead to good outcomes. Like your success rate is going to be almost too good to be true. Like 85, 90, 95, 100% of the time you're going to succeed. You just don't know how in advance. You're giving up certainty for a much higher likelihood of success, even arguably guaranteed success if you play your cards right. This is why I kind of think that if I just keep playing, like if I follow Visa's maxim, show up, don't die, don't quit, like the service guild just will flourish and just will succeed because we're playing a conditions consequences game. We're playing long games, and we're playing it conditions consequences style, such that we are constantly setting up the conditions for good consequences. We're constantly planting seeds. We don't know which seeds will sprout. We don't know the exact path that it will take to success, but we're just going to succeed. We just will flourish. It's almost inevitable. And Visa talks about this, that if you play your cards right, probably when you succeed, people will be like, well, that was just luck. You just got lucky. And it's like, well, yeah, of course luck plays a chance in it. That's you giving up on knowing exactly how it's going to go down, but you can set yourself up for success. You can make it much more likely that you're going to succeed, and that's what conditions consequences is all about. When I first wrote about this on my blog, I wrote about it with the frame of the game Risk, and that's part of why I'm making this video, is because not everybody is going to like the game Risk, but if you play Risk in a means end style and a conditions consequences style, which I describe how to do in that blog post, it's night and day. Like if you play Risk means end style, you will win 10, 15, 20% of the time, you can win that way, but your batting average is just going to be terrible. But if you play conditions consequences style, like when I play risk conditions consequences style, I don't know, I win 70, 80, 90% of the time. And when you do win, it's so wild. It's like you just take over the globe. I mean, that's what you have to do to win risk, of course, but like you just dominate and there's no stopping you. At a certain point, even before you win, it's like inevitable that you're going to succeed. And you're like, yep, that works. And once you kind of get that download of what means ends feels like and what conditions consequences feels like, you never want to go back. It's like if there's a complex problem, you just reach for the conditions consequences. You want to stop reaching for means ends. And you can still use means ends, but you just have a sense, oh, this is when it's appropriate to use means ends. It's definitely, I use means ends stuff all the time. As I said in the last video, like SOPs are really good for means ends type things. Like I want to host a dance party, a Meta dance party. We have a very elaborate SOP that we use, and it's like, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, and that will produce a good Meta dance party reliably. Known goal, known solution, just go through the procedure, done. But in terms of like a larger strategy for succeeding for like the love department or the curiosity department or the empowerment department or the service guild as a whole, conditions consequences is just such an overpowered strategy. And once you start thinking this way, you can't go back. And so that's part of why I'm making this video, is I hope that you can pick up on this distinction between means ends and conditions consequences and start applying it to complex problems that you care about and solve them with a really high rate of success. I'm wishing you the best with this. If you have any thoughts, feel free to put them in the comments, and I am sending you love.